Hello and welcome to That Second Gen Life with Semhar. I'm your host, Semhar Raya. If you are a second generationer, child of immigrants, a diaspora leader, professional change maker, however you identify, this space is for you. This podcast is more than just storytelling. It's about strategy, identity, leadership, community, finding yourself in this beautiful diasporic journey we're all going through. We'll talk about everything from navigating the workforce as a diaspora professional to the role that you can play in making an impact from where you are, locally or around the world. We'll talk about the realities and joys of being a second generationer, some of the challenges, some of the delights, but most importantly, we're going to remind you that you are powerful and that you're yours to create the spaces you wish existed. Hello and welcome to That Second Gen Life with Semhar. I'm your host, Semhar Araya, and today's episode is pretty special and unexpected. It's the beginning of December, and this theme around gratitude has really been sitting with me, not just because we're in the holiday season. I know we just concluded Thanksgiving, we're entering Christmas for those of you that observe, and it's beyond the holidays. It's this idea of gratitude in the small things and the big things. And yes, this is an incredibly challenging time, especially for those of you who are based in the United States like myself. 2025 has been such a difficult year in so many ways. And every day we're faced with the prospects of not knowing things that used to be so certain for us, our job, our livelihood, our family's well-being, the status of our communities. Every day is a bit harrowing, but I want you to listen to this post because it's a reminder of where gratitude and the opportunity to find gratitude and motivation to keep going rests in your own life, regardless of what you're going through or where you feel you're at in your life. I want you to listen to this and ask yourself if you could also apply some of these thoughts to your own journey. It's more than just expressing gratitude. It's about locating yourself and the power that you have to press forward, to move forward, and to chase after something you believe so firmly in, okay? So tune in and listen to the reasons that I feel particularly grateful for the moment that I'm in my life, in my journey. Let me know what you think. I'll see you soon, you guys. So in my last post, I talked to you about gratitude and the importance of having this attitude of gratitude. This holiday season, I am already feeling so much gratitude and overwhelm. Not because, it's a season of abundance for everyone or for all of us. It's a trying season. It's a challenging season. And I still marvel at the small things. I marvel at how life took its path and unfolded the way it did for me. I marvel at the different chapters I've already experienced. I marvel at the life lessons that have come to me. And that's through everything. That's through birth and death. That's through relationships starting and ending. That's through jobs that have come to me and that have left me. That's through creativity that I have built and discovered on my own and creativity that I've struggled with. That's through the small things of music and writing and expression and the big things like traveling around the world and meeting the most incredible people. This gratitude muscle, I just sit in it all day. And right now I'm feeling really grateful because I don't know how life has still continued to flourish when I have felt so unsure of the future and so unsure of even the present. I run my own business. I am responsible for my livelihood. I'm responsible for my child's well-being. I'm responsible for being a good sister and a good daughter. It's important to me to take care of myself and the people I love. But it's also so scary when, this year has been nothing short of challenges for everyone, not just me, I know. And I want to give thanks, and I want to do it publicly, because if I didn't honor the challenges and the hardships, then I wouldn't be ready for the blessings and the abundance. And all of that is promised to you. I believe in. I believe we are promised blessings in everything. There's a blessing with every lesson. There is a growth opportunity with everything. And it's all about how you show up in the present. So this gratitude for me is just like, I never imagined that I would be working for myself in this way. I've never imagined that I get the chance to speak to you like this over an app. I've never imagined that my job was to discover my best self and be responsible for myself in this way. I thought someone else was going to help. I thought because I wasn't born into a certain privilege or I wasn't born in under certain circumstances, I would not be able to experience certain things, and it's false. So much of life in the diaspora has been a discovery of what was within me that I had a responsibility to discover. And that is a discovery of everything. Kindness to yourself, grace to yourself, gratitude for the lessons that come to you, and a real persistence to chase after life's questions. And yeah, life's questions can be everything from your childhood and your relationships in your family to existential questions around how the world should be and what we should be doing with our life in the 24 hours we're granted in a day. Those larger than life questions are your life's work. And I'm looking at my journey from starting as a lawyer to moving into policy and thinking that it's all about my profession, because that's what we're all led to believe, and realizing that a lot of this is also about how you spend your time, talent, and treasure for good. When I started this Diaspora organization in 2007, it was the Diaspora African Women's Network, DAWN. It really felt like a coming home of sorts. It was an organization to support women of the African diaspora who work on African affairs. There were a lot of us, and we had it connected. And starting an organization is not what most people would choose to do, but I felt it had to be done because it was so needed. And for 10 years, that was the love of my life. That was my purpose and my mission, and it still is in a lot of ways. But I also understood the responsibility I had to myself and the responsibility I had to take care of myself. And running a nonprofit relies on a host of factors for it to be sustainable and scalable. And we just didn't have that. We didn't have the funding the way the philanthropic world is ready now for diaspora organizations. It wasn't available to us about 15 years ago. It's just the way the world is. And I didn't have the support system to help scale that. We had an incredible team. We had an incredible set of chapters and members. It was a wonderful organization, but sustainability and scalability just wasn't there. And I had to make a really tough decision. If I continue pouring into this organization, it'll be at the expense of my own well-being, because I had literally been running it on my own. And that was for 10 years. And so my lesson, looking back at these journeys, is look at how publicly Dawn was and look at what you carried inside privately as a founder. And if you're a founder, you probably can relate. And I'm happy to share more another time. But the point right now is, for every incredible opportunity that I was leading into, there was a really significant sacrifice on my part. It made me make some decisions about, do I go back into law? Do I work in a standard job again? Do I get on a payroll again? And that's ultimately what I chose. And I chose to go back to the workforce just to regain a sense of stability. But here's the beauty. Leaving something you created and deciding to go back into the workforce, it's a bit of heartache. As a founder, you never want to leave what you created. But I understood that it needed to come back in a different iteration and that this work would never leave me. I went into the workforce for 7 years. And for 7 years, I got to build diaspora systems for the international organization, UNICEF, and for Meta, at that time known as Facebook. I got to build diaspora policy and work with amazing communities, amazing people, both in the organizations and out. I got to connect with diasporas of all walks of life. And it was those 7 years that I actually ended up realizing my work wasn't limited to the African diaspora. I really was focused on a global diaspora mission. And then when I was laid off from Meta, as all of those tech layoffs were happening, I thought, that wasn't right. And what now? Another pivot. And immediately I understood that I needed to go back to work for myself, but offer something to diasporas who were more ready and were global. So it wasn't limited to a region. It wasn't limited to the African continent. It wasn't limited to women. It was really about supporting diasporas from all walks. And that's how I got here. And I can't believe that now, with that clarity, I, this year, somehow managed to make it all work. Meaning, in the desperation of what will this year look like, when all that funding got cut earlier this year, we were hit pretty badly. The Diaspora Academy was working with organizations and institutions that relied on funding, in part from State Department or USAID, international exchange programs. That was some of our work. Diaspora trainings with organizations that did cultural exchange and education. That was some of our work. All got cut, and it hurt. But out of that, I said, maybe this is the time for me to be creative and create community. I've been telling you that your goal and your mission right now is to build community. And I launched this Eritrean Diaspora Innovator Summit, if some of you remember, in May, EDIS. And from Dawn to EDIS, I can't believe how natural that flow feels. And to have TDA as the vehicle, I give thanks and I give praise. But I also give thanks for these hardships, because getting back to my roots of being able to create spaces for the Eritrean diaspora, it's always where my heart has been. But getting to do EDIS as a part of the Diaspora Academy and as a part of my own business, did not see that coming. So that's what I wanted to share with you, is that journey that you go through of the ups and downs. It's really an unknown space for you. I promise you, that attitude of gratitude and leaning into the moment and chasing after these questions is what helps get you through. You do have to be creative sometimes. You may be underemployed or underpaid. You may have to do things that are not paid at all. Dawn was a nonprofit organization. I told you that our funding was limited. I had to get creative around how I took care of my. That's not a mystery. So I want you to also think about when you're leaning into your vision and your mission around how you use your time, talent, and treasure for good. I want you to know that it will come with sacrifice. It will come with challenges and tests. But I think all of that is preparation. So sitting in an attitude of gratitude helps you get through all of that. And I want you to hold on to that for the rest of, as long as you can, the rest of your life, certainly past these holidays. But as we enter the holiday season, as we just concluded Thanksgiving in the United States, as we're entering moments for particularly religious communities, the Christian communities, Muslim, Jewish, different communities, and then we have the end of year, I want you to prepare yourself in this season of giving thanks. I want you to prepare yourself so you can take it past that. So that's my message. I hope you hear something in this. But let me know, does this make sense? The journey and the attitude of gratitude? And have you ever experienced something like this? I really hope that you are feeling some type of pull to stay in the present and move forward and trust your gut, to listen to what you're passionate about, and to really see everything as a blessing and a lesson. Okay, see you soon. Don't forget to subscribe and follow That Second Gen Life with Semhar on your favorite listening platform.